We sometimes see those videos from our fellow YouTubers that talk about how to leave the 9-to-5 matrix, how to leave the 9-to-5 rut, or that you don't actually have to work. And a lot of people get really triggered by this and get very emotional. And they say, but somebody has to put food on the table, somebody has to earn the money, somebody has to do this kind of job. We wanted to look at it from a little different perspective now, because whoever invented this matrix or this system that we are all living in, it's actually quite smart, because the normal system is that we go to school, we make friends, we go to work, we work there for as long as possible, we make more friends, we get married, we have kids and so on. It's all planned out in society how we are supposed to live. The thing is that we all have our own insecurities, the things that we were brought up with, and the things that we have to deal with emotionally. But when we live in the society, we get to really forget about it. We work 8-9 hours a day, and when we come home, we're tired. We're too tired to think about those things, to look at those emotions, and we just distract ourselves with watching TV or watching Netflix. Then in other free time, we spend it with going out to clubs, we spend time with friends, or we go shopping, and we still are able to hide this emotion that we all have. That's why people later on have midlife crisis. We have experienced by leaving the matrix early that when we have the freedom to do whatever we want, it's not always a good thing. It's actually a really big responsibility. We have the freedom to spend the entire day on our smartphones, on social media, or on watching videos and not doing anything. We have the freedom to not really pursue our dreams as well, or to not work physically, or to not exercise. And when we are in the society, then we know, okay, we have a schedule, I have to get up at this time. If I want to have anything else done, I have to do it within those 2-3 hours I have at the end of the day. And that's how we can plan our whole life. So it's really something that you have to question. Do you want to leave the matrix? Do you want to have this freedom? Because it also comes with the opposite side. It's not, okay, you leave the matrix and you quit your job and now you're going to have a lot of money and you have your business and success and you're going to be super happy. That's not how it works. We're all playing this game. We have certain emotional states which we're hiding, which we're burying deep down, and we try to put on the mask because we want to be perceived a certain way. And all our life we can play this game, and that feeling will always be there though, and it will always want to come up, it will want to be seen and be acknowledged. And we can hide it with more shopping and more addictions and more gambling and more going out to party.
More working.
Or more working, yeah. But that feeling will always be there, and that's probably also why this system was created, so we don't have to look at this. We don't have to deal with it because it can be quite challenging when we do look at it.
Our dog is having now health problems, and they are quite serious. And if you go to work, you leave for 8 to 10 hours a day. You don't have to be with somebody who has a problem.
With your life.
Switch. Yes, you don't have to be with your life, which you're creating, because you have to be at work. And this way, you have a pauses, right? You go to work, you have a pause from your life, and then you are in a life, and then like life in your private life, and then you go back to work, and you just have these little pauses, and it's very, very relieving. And this way you can just, it's like training, you run and then you pause, and you run and you pause. If you have to run all the time, you have to learn how to decompress, how to harmonize yourself all the time, not only when you have availability to leave, because it's very, very emotionally challenging. For example, with taking care of a sick animal or sick person, you
have struggles in a relationship or financial struggles.
Or you find out later when you are on a vacation together, you have struggled in a relationship, but you have no idea that it's happening because you are 8 hours at work and then maybe together during a week, like 2 hours a day fully because of the cooking and maybe exercising or some
and
other.
each one has their own life and they have
Shopping,
their hobbies.
activities, yeah. So you basically are not together that much, and this way on a vacation your relationship can be tested. You get the point that when you become free, you are actually more not free because you now have to do it on your own. You have to parent yourself.
Exactly.
But this way, you have a job, you know that you will go to the job and you know that you have to do this and that. But now, when you are free and you left the 9 to 5 rat race, when people call it rat race, now nobody talks about what's beyond that. And beyond that is like discipline. You can't be disciplined. You cannot not be disciplined. It's just super mandatory.
It's gonna be harmful if you're not disciplined, because after some time, when you start to really realize and arrive in this new reality that I actually have the freedom and you don't have to be part of the society as it was set up and built, you will actually at one point start to notice those emotions to come up. You can't hide it any longer. You can only watch that many videos or movies in a day or series. At some point it will come up and you will have to look at it. And that's why a lot of people recommend after breakup or after some crazy experience, hey, go to work, it will help you to get your mind out of this and to just be distracted, and it's super helpful. So you really have to think about, do I really want to make this step, because it's a lot to deal with. And I think it's probably also going to be more and more the longer we postpone it as well.
It's very much offering us this time which you gain after leaving the matrix. This time offers you to be really in a depth with your emotions. And I honestly can say that it's really emotionally challenging time for me. And now I am just getting, I am starting to be impatient with my mind. I just say, no, stop, we are not doing this anymore, for myself.
It's getting boring.
It's getting very intense. The mind can give you a lot of, I don't want to use any bad words in here, but
the mind can make you do crazy things or want to do crazy things.
Think about a lot of things, and then you have to really master it. And this is a place where you master it. And once you master it within you, in your time off, you are absolutely free after that. It's like initiation. It's an initiation, and not everybody can do that, because I also think about, hey, I'll just probably get a normal job soon, because I will probably, it's better, This way, you don't have to say, hey, I'm sorry, I don't have time to people, or you can say to people, if you don't want to meet them or something, or you want to have time for yourself, I'm at work, I don't have time, I'm working on Saturday or whatever. But this way, you have to just say, no, I'm not going with you.
And you have something to talk about as well, because that's all we talk about, right?
Yeah.
How is your work? What do you do? And for how long do you do it? And then you actually have something to answer. And if you're not inside the society, it will be really hard for you to relate with people and family.
It's hard for you to relate to the problems, because now you don't have an energetic bond which bonds you to the work problems. Then you don't have to relate to that overly busy life, because I have time all the time and I can make time all the time. Even though we are super busy now with all our activities, it seems like we are not, right? Because we don't work, but we are very busy from the very early morning until right now when we are making this video. And we just have to schedule it and choose it, and all the time really program it and plan it what we want to do, because otherwise we wouldn't do anything.
My father was always saying that you should never have a space between one job and another. You should basically finish on a Friday in one job, and on Monday you should already start a new one. He was so afraid of ever having an empty space or a vacuum where you could not be working or where you could not be distracted. He even says now, hey, you have too much time to think, then you could create a lot of problems and it's not good for your mind, and you should really do something, like have a normal job. And your father also says people have to have a program. If they don't have a program, the mind will take over and it will make them to do crazy things or think about crazy things. And it's really insane what the mind can do if we are not sitting with it, looking at it, observing it, and we're actually realizing that it's not us. It's just the mind, and we have to manage it. Petra said earlier, we have to parent ourselves. That's what parents do. That's what our bosses do for us. Now you're on your own. Do you really want that? There's nothing wrong to just stay in the job and have a wonderful life and be happy. You can meditate on the side. You probably will have to look at those emotions at one point or another, because at some point you just realize everybody's just kind of playing a game. Everybody's just faking it. It's all a little bit fake. But it's nothing wrong with living this life. Like, you notice that people are all having a mask on. You're having a mask on. Everybody's just pretending to be a certain somebody, certain someone. That's what you can realize at some point. It's actually not really authentic. It's not really who they are or who we are.
But it's not a guilt game. We are not supposed to feel guilty for staying in a matrix or leaving the matrix, because everything brings us something. And if you watch the movie from Dan Millman, Peaceful Warrior, then you will see that the Socrates there is serving on a gas station, and it's absolutely evolved conscious person. We saw in a Samadhi movie also this proverb, which is, before enlightenment, chop the wood and carry water, and after enlightenment, chop the wood and carry water. You always will have to do this. You always will have to pay your bills, but it matters in what consciousness. If you're guilty that you stayed in a matrix and you're just dragging your body to work, and you just have to face there the people who are pushing those emotional buttons which trigger you and so on, and then you go home and at home it's not working, it's not it, we are also able to change that. We just can change our view on things. When I started to be into this kind of exploring activities world, I am exploring who I am, and all the time, and I was just super fine at work. I was happy, and I was actually leaving in a very great energy. I had a lot of friends there and I missed them, and I realized that this is a challenge, this is a really like another level of, when you play computer and Prince of Persia, I used to play in a past, and there's levels, to get to the princess, which is probably us, through us, and we are just in another level, and you can just stay there and have that level by yourself at work, but somebody needs this because we are pushed there or led there by this consciousness.
And we have this association of the matrix or the system being wrong and bad and evil. But I don't think it's really true. It is just really helping us to deal with us so that we don't have to too much go within and actually look at who we really are. It is really helpful in that we can be having a program that is going to just allow us to live a normal life or a good life. So I think it's really well set up.
When we are feeling guilty, it is not good for us at all. If we are in a matrix from 9 to 5 job, or if we are at home and we just stay in that guilt all the time that we don't do enough and that we should do more and should do that, And in the Matrix, when you can just say, oh, I should have left, and I should have tried it, and I should have, and all the time this guilt feeling. If we leave only that, as we already discussed in our guilt video, then it's going to be much easier and much more free and light for you, the life.
You know, when you first exit the Matrix or you leave your job, it's all fun and games. In the beginning, you travel a little bit and you make some new friends and you go to a new country, and it's really cool and exciting, and finally you're free and you can do all those things. But after some time, that will also go away, that novelty, that new experience, and you will actually at one point have to face also your shadows, and you have to look at yourself and you have to sit with yourself. And it's very challenging, so really think about, do you really want that?
Or you don't have to do that, but if you want to really use it to your benefit, to your evolution, that you want to do that. You want to look at your emotions, you want to look at who you are, how you are reacting, how you are feeling. And if you look at that and you don't like something about you, and you feel that you can improve it, and then you become better person. You will have better feeling about your life, and you'll just have better life overall, better relationships and so on. But this is this challenge which is hidden in that, particularly in this leaving the Matrix.
Mm-hmm. So that's why it is all built the way it is built, that we really are distracted the entire time, and we buy those luxury goods and we think the more we have, the better.
For example, me, I was going to shop. I worked next to shopping malls, so I went there almost every day for lunch. And I walked next to the stores, so every week at least I bought like 3 items or 4 items, clothing items, or some cosmetics or some perfume. And basically I started to realize that I work for dressing up and dressed up for work, and it was like this vicious cycle. And I just, I had to put my steam off somewhere, so I went shopping, and it was all about clothes all the time, and I realized that it's now I don't have a reason to dress up so much. I was going to work wearing a different outfit every single day, super styled up, great hairdos and so on. But now I don't do this.
Or you actually see what you have at home. You don't still focus on the next shiny object which you could maybe have and add to your wardrobe, but you actually see what you have, and it's just an analogy of also what is within us. We're not still distracting ourselves with the next best thing that will give us a little dopamine boost, so we can also be busy and not look at that feeling underneath it.
But also nobody's going to expect you dressing up every day. If you don't do it for yourself or for your good feeling, or because you want to do it every day and you have this discipline to do it, nobody gives a thought about it. I said it super politely, right?
Yes.
So if you don't dress up, nobody cares, but you feel this. And that's what I did. I didn't dress up. I was just working all the time, even though we were at home. And I forgot about how it is nice to feel sometimes having everything like makeup and dressed up and so on. And it's just some things you want to keep in your life and implement it anyways. And it's nice after like a year or half year after you leave the Matrix. And then after that time, you just become more comfortable. We became very comfortable with lockdowns. We all became comfortable. We all are less caring about what we wear anyways, because we could taste it, how it tastes when we had the lockdowns, right? It was also a test of we were just pushed from the Matrix. We were pushed directly to our homes, being with our lives right now, in that moment. And we had to deal with those emotions.
Exactly. That's why there came then this mental health crisis next.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you want to avoid, because if you retire and you start to be having free time, what is coming then? You know, you then you will have to deal with it anyways, because it's there, and it's going to just get you sooner or later. It will get all of us. Not only, we are not anybody special. We are same as you. We are just dealing with the same stuff, and sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy. And we know, I have a lot of friends who retired after they had certain age, 65 or something, and they now have to deal with their demons, let's say. Sometimes it's good, you know, but sometimes
they might still have grandchildren and other things which keeps them busy.
Yes,
so they can still try to continue being in that system and just continue the game. But when you start to have some time,
somebody even wants to be needed, and it's beautiful. That's why we are here on this planet. We all want to contribute. We all want to make better planet and better our neighborhood and everything. But I also talk to those ladies now lately who are retired, and they really live for their grandkids, and they need to have some boost. But also some of them, they are living because they love to live. They just are super happy. They give it to themselves, and I'm super impressed by them, you know. Maybe you want to prepare for this a bit when you want to leave the matrix, your job, and maybe you are in there and you decide to stay because you don't want to feel guilty just because you didn't decide to do this, you know. You don't want to punish yourself for these things, and it all will contribute to your happy body, and it will be your body.
And no matter you're working or not working or whatever you do, you can always start to feel the happy emotions. You can start to love your life and appreciate what you have and really look at that feeling and sit with it so you can transform it. You can do this no matter where you are.
Yesterday we were sitting with Raphael next to each other, and I said, hey, so now I will have to feel like this and that. You know?
We can tune into being happy in the future.
I said something like this, and he said, but you can already do it now without having that thing.
You don't have to tune into it and create it and visualize being happy.
Or happy about our home. I can already be happy where I am at now, because happiness is just it's a decision, right? Some people it's a skill. We have to train it.
We wanted to inform you a little bit about Luna. Here's Petra with Luna laying and enjoying the sun today a little bit. Luna was going through a very big inflammation in her mouth. We got it a little bit under control, but she just started to lose more and more of her strength. She can barely stand. She can't walk by herself. We have to carry her everywhere. She was having a little diarrhea today, and she also didn't eat. We'll give you a bigger update soon.